Hey everybody, KC here. So today I get to have a conversation with Ralph Nader. Now you may remember a couple of weeks ago, I did a review of his new book, The Rebellious CEO. Really liked the book a lot. It's a profile of 12 CEOs who did things differently, didn't follow the traditional route, behaved in an unorthodox fashion, were very much focused on stakeholders. That's a phrase they probably wouldn't have used as opposed to just shareholders. Really interesting people, interesting stories. And after I posted the review, and I had hoped to get an interview with Ralph Nader. Then I didn't think it was going to happen. I wanted to review the book because it was just out. I did it. And then I got the opportunity to talk to him. We couldn't make a Zoom work for a variety of reasons. So I decided I'm just going to record it. And so today you're going to have that conversation with Ralph Nader, but it's only an audio file. You're going to be able to click on it below. You can download it to wherever you listen to your podcast or your music. You can listen to it anytime you want, at your desk, while you're out for a jog, in the car, whatever you want to do. I think it's really interesting. It's about 35 minutes long, so you may want to listen to it in pieces. But I just thought it was fascinating. And I mean, he focused on things like the character of the people, the CEOs that he profiles in the book. He talks a little bit about the circumstances, sometimes really tough circumstances that they grew up in that allowed them to think differently about their businesses. He talked about the fact that they were willing to admit their mistakes. They were willing to try different things. Really, really interesting stories. One of the things that's really interesting about this, and this is a book, as you'll hear in the conversation, he's been trying to get published for a couple of years. In a lot of ways, publishers didn't want to publish it, right? They didn't want to do it because, oh, come on, Ralph Nader, you got to go out and attack corporations. He said, I know, I wanted to write a good news book. At one point, he says, in a different context in the conversation, he says, there's no sense giving in to pessimism and cynicism. I think people don't think of Ralph Nader that way. I found him utterly delightful to talk to. You may remember I wrote when I did my piece a couple of weeks ago, I actually met Ralph Nader 50 years ago. I was a 19-year-old production assistant for a Sunday morning public access talk show. He was a guest, and I was totally intimidated then. I have to admit, I was a little nervous now when I did the conversation with him today. You know, it's Ralph freaking Nader. You know, now listen, I get this. A lot of you are going to say, "Come on, it's Ralph freaking Nader. Why do I want to listen to him? He's all he does is think about consumers. All he does is attack corporations." I don't think that's necessarily a fair reading of his history. I think it's been more nuanced than that. But listen, if we've always talked about one thing on Morning Newsbeat here, it's how if companies focus on their customers and their employees, not necessarily in that order, they can create really profitable businesses. And that's the other bottom line about the book. He talks about it in the conversation. Profit was enormously important to these CEOs because they knew profit was the thing that was going to enable them to do the things that they wanted to do. And the other thing is, these are not tree huggers that he's profiling. These are not people who sit around at board tables singing Kumbaya. These were sometimes rough, profane, incredibly driven and forceful personalities who knew how to run a business, but also had some sense of not just the value of their businesses, but the values they wanted to make their businesses operate with. So anyway, as I said, it's below. You can download it and listen to it at your pleasure. I really hope you enjoy it because I really did. It's my conversation with Ralph Nader. Enjoy.